There's this picture that she has of me and Wacho on the Buena Vista step on both of the towers, and we're both howling at the moon or whatever, and it's like in the darkest, deepest night you could imagine or whatever. And the picture doesn't do it justice, but it does, because we used to be the gargoyles of Buena Vista, man, straight up.
Wacho.
Things changed, but that's scary. Those early days, we were fucking on it. We would always vanish in the sunlight. We would vanish like into hiding or like into Frank's truck and shit. And like one time, Carrie gave us acid under the condition. She was like, the condition is that you have to fucking hang out tomorrow too. She was like, you have to hang out with us tomorrow. And because of random circumstance, Frank, that was the first time we ever. Yeah, we were gonna go to the mountain, and so I jumped in the back of the truck. Booty was there, Rory was there.
Cool.
I ripped my whole pants getting into the back of Big Red, which was funny because I was too high on acid. We picked up Wacho, and then we were driving on Haight Street, and we passed Carrie and Cassie, and we looked out the back window of the truck, and we were like, later! And it was so cool, because like, yeah, we phantomed out.
And that was when you walked the San Francisco Bridge too?
No, that was even earlier.
Yeah, that was the time when they weren't supposed
told
to
me
leave
that story.
early because we were all going to leave to hitchhike to Montana or whatever to get to Montana, so we weren't going to see each other for like a long time. So we're like, you got to stay and hang out like a little bit into the day. You can't just like zip like you usually do because we're all leaving, you know? And so they did it anyway. And then
It's just because Frank wanted us to go to the mountains.
yeah, which is cool. And then we went and like started hitchhiking with Destin and shit, me and Cassie, and we went in this big ass circle, and then that's when we linked up with them in Davis.
We ran into them at the Davis Solar Festival
Which circle?
in California.
Fucking me and Destin and Cassie were hitchhiking, and Destin was on the phone with these fucking girls, and he was like, I'm gonna go fucking 200 or like about 200 miles in the opposite direction, which we just came from that direction to go link up with these girls at this small festival. And I was like, no fucking way, dude. We've already been sitting on this fucking same chunk of highway for like a day and a fucking half, and it's hot. I'm going in the direction I'm going. This is bullshit. And then these girls, we weren't getting any rides, so we found some shade, and we were sitting on the side of the road in some shade. And these girls with the van like pulled up to where we were kind of hitching from. And they weren't going the direction we were going, but they seen us and they pulled over, and they're like, we're going to this festival if you guys want to come. And it was the same one Destin wanted to go to, so he was like, ha ha ha, now it's easier to go and it's hot and it's better than sitting here. We could probably catch a ride from that festival where we're going. And so we're like, fuck it, we're going because it's hot and these girls are cool and they're going to spin fire and shit. So we went with them, and then when we got there, we're like, whoa, this is kind of like a little bit even smaller than we thought. But me and Cassie were looking around at shit, and then like the crowd parted and he was standing there, and like Wacho was on the ground, but I didn't see him. And like we went up and like jumped on him and shit. We're like, what are you guys doing
Yeah,
here?
she
Now
hip
it's gonna be
checked
fun.
me, and I had no idea what it was. She almost knocked me to the ground. When you bash someone with your hip and you try to knock them over.
Oh,
And I was like, I turned around to be like, I was like fucking ready to swing or some shit, and then it was Carrie, and it was like, yes. And then Carrie had the acid. We fucking took acid, and it was insane. That was the time that there was a huge marching band that after the festival ended at 10 o'clock, and it sucked. They were like, we're going to the after party downtown. The marching band is gonna lead us there.
And you couldn't see the color in their eyes.
The marching band wasn't even that cool, but we were so high on acid, and we like empowered them. And we were stopping cars in the street and being like, huge party downtown, booze and weed, get there now.
I was like worried about him, so I was carrying around the sandwich stuff, so I like gave him the sandwich food, and I was like sleep in this bush. And
When we got
find
to
some
the
shit in
venue,
daylight.
there was
And I
huge
tried to
glass
scuttle off and
windows,
shit, and then Frank
and the
talked to me
band
for a
was like
second, but I
getting
was
ready to
"They're
play,
demons, don't
and we
trust
just
them.
kept a huge
Don't
dance
trust
party going in the street.
They were weird."
We were stopping traffic and shit to have a huge dance party. We were like, keep going. The band kept playing, and then like the owner of the venue came out and like came up to us because he knew that we were like puppeteering the whole thing or whatever on acid, and he was like, just tell them to go inside. He was like, if you tell them to go inside, they will. He was like, I'll give you VIP wristbands, you'll get unlimited alcohol for free.
Yeah, he was like holding him, and Frank like swatted him out of his hand. And he's
Frank
like,
had
"You've
this
been keeping
huge
us out too
vein in
long.
his
We're
neck,
not
and he was
going
like, you've been
inside."
keeping us out for too long, man. We're not going in. It was so sick. And then like earlier that night, I found this bag that had a huge selenite crystal in it and a huge bag of weed. So I was like, fuck yes. So we had it, and then I ran into this kid that I know from the gathering, and he was like, right after the guy tried to get us to go into the venue, and the guy was like, dude, I lost my bag earlier. All it has in it is a huge bag of weed and a selenite crystal. And I was like, is this your bag? And he was like, yes. And so he rolled a joint, and we all sat down between these two cars to smoke a joint. And as soon as we sat down, the cops rolled up.
With the spotlight.
And they were like looking for us. But they were like, everyone go inside or go home. And we were hiding, and they didn't see us. They left. We finished the joint, and then we ghosted out like we didn't exist.
Yeah, then we wandered around for hours finding the truck, but
So
then nobody
crazy.
knew where it was, and then hours after, I think Frank was just too fucked up to drive, because then like hours after we
And
were
where
like,
you
walking
went?
around the
Where
vicinity
To a
of the
graveyard.
truck, everybody like chilled out for
We
a
slept
second,
next
and
in the
then
rose
got
bushes
up,
next
and
to a
then,
graveyard. It was cool as
I
fuck.
went to pick up snipes because I didn't sleep at all. Everybody else was like laying around, so I was like picking up snipes. And Frank comes by and he's like, "You want a cigarette?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And anyway, so he gives me a cigarette, and then he's like, "I'll be right back." And then he rips up again in Big Red, and then
Shut up.
I
Stay
walk
here.
back over to it, and everybody's like, "Get in the truck," and then we're like getting in the truck, and then we're like, "We're going to the mountain," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And cool.
Well,
We all
and
got
they
a ticket
came.
in the back of the truck
Yeah.
past the Ono store by a Cal Fire guy. We were all
And,
still high on
first big
acid.
pullout.
Frank had his gun with him. He had the 30-30, and the cop was like, "Do you have a firearm?" And Frank was just super straight and was just like, "Yes, it's in the back." So he was like, "It's not loaded. You want me to show it to you?" Frank busts out the gun, shows him it's not loaded, shows him his registration or whatever, so it's chill. So Frank's chilling there. Somehow this guy is, not saying that Frank's super short, but the cop is shorter than Frank and has just like a baby face. He looks like he's like, he wasn't 18, but he looked like he's like 18. Frank
like
is sitting
20.
there, dirty as fuck. He has the 30-30 open on his hip and shit. And the cop's like, "I'm gonna have to give you all a ticket for the seatbelt or whatever." And it was just so crazy. But I should just being little puppies, mama dog. We gotta send pictures and shit to your dad, dude. I feel like that'll blow him away. Dude, there was like 100 people there or some shit.
I can bring it in. Oh shit, you gotta wait.
Too uncomfortable.
Bunching in my shit.
That's
hot.
looking cool. Cool.
That's adorable. Yeah. And Zion had already said he was from Chicago, but he was so wasted and shit. And he was like, we're from NorCal too, bro. He was like, "We're from fucking NorCal too." And then like I unzipped my hoodie and I pulled my shirt up. I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "Fucking oh no, dude." And then the guy was like, "Oh no, I go?" or some shit. And then he knows the Leadbetters.
That's tight.
And then it was funny, it was like, we live off Rainbow Lake Road. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Poncho.
But it used to have a lean-to in those trees there. It was tight, and that's where everybody slept when we first got there.
The first time they ever came up, we took acid that Carrie had that was fire as fuck,
Whoa.
and we read the entire book out loud in one sitting. A couple people took turns. I did a lot of reading.
So did Cassie.
Cassie did a lot of reading. It was cool. The route for you, but it seems like lately there's only like one key.
Just the one you
Yeah, which is weird. I don't know. Not trying to be a bastard, but like
No,
weird
you're not.
shit, dude. Weird
Yeah.
shit.
The key thing is something you gotta come up with a permanent working system for.
So you're missing one key?
At least.
Well, that shit gets complicated because it's really illogical for anyone to have a key unless you have a vehicle.
Yeah, the key should be with the vehicles. Be cool to
That's
have a
some-
hidden lockbox down there. Fucking.
That's some. Oh yeah, that's some other stuff we're gonna talk about too.
We can make
Yo,
one.
what's this?
It's leave your window open for me. I am impatient. The story that we
like month and a half. What are we gonna do with the whole rest of the summer if we can't talk shit to you?
If I leave, dear, don't resent me. My heart's my own as these north winds, but to you I'll always be returning. No, I'm never not on my way, 'cause time, it's not real. Just these things that we feel. Feed your doubt to the crocodile. Every day in the woods is wild. Leave your window open for me. I have been eagerly waiting for you to tell a faithful ending to the story that we both stole. Breathe in, let it go. Watch as our feet leave the ground. Watch as your feet leave the ground. My feet aren't really touching the ground. Watch my feet leave the ground. What's up, Grandpa?
phone, and then took a picture of me and Carrie. Total stranger, weird. Yeah, same shit. Where it's like I took a picture and then he showed me the picture, but it actually was a really nice picture. But he was like, I work for Vice or some shit.
Damn, what?
He's like, I guess. I don't know. Do you? Why the fuck are you at the Idaho Holiday Parade? I don't know, dude. The dude was so fucked up and acting really goofy, and like, I was like weirded out that he was taking pictures. He asked James if he could take my picture. And then I think Carrie told the guy, like, ask him or whatever. Like, just ask him. And then, yeah, he showed us the picture. He was like, I work for Vice. It's like, that's insane. Okay. That's great. Well, fancy meeting you here. Well, yeah, nice meeting you here.
What are you doing here?
And then it was cool. I ran into, what's his name? Bobby and Susie or something? Robbie and Susie that do the ladybugs.
Oh yeah,
They have
tight.
access to the road. They're super nice. I ran into them and got to shake his hand and his wife was like, I'm a hugger. They're super sweet. And it was just cool. Somehow I was really living it up and loving being like super like patched out and shit with Carrie, dreadlock babe. You know
I
what
was
I mean?
bummed I didn't have my
But,
patch
like,
pants and fucking.
Everyone being like
Cherry.
super kind of judgmental because it's a small town, but then being like, "What's up, Joe? Like John
Oh,
Francis, my man, dude.
Grandpa?
Like, let's get wasted." Grandpa wasn't there. You don't go there.
No, he doesn't go to
He
Idaho.
does. Yeah, he
He's
does.
banned for life.
Yeah.
He can't drink there. He won't go into Idaho. He just passes through. Carol was there. She was selling fucking nachos, chili cheese dogs. I hella racked in some food. It was so sick. We got all the leftovers. They got sent home with Jessica, which is tight, and Jessica
And
just
they got
gave them to
sent home
me.
with
Which
us.
is tight.
Yeah, that's
She's like,
perfect.
oh yeah. It was like a whole thing of shredded cheese, just like, oh yeah. Like 12 hot dogs. It was like, yes.
We're gonna give
Noodles
them
and
to those
everyone was
kids.
here. It was like 2 in the morning, and everyone's like shivering and starving, and we're like, everyone was getting ready to like attack the kitchen or whatever, like in fucking feral drug out rage. And I was like, there's a fuck ton of hot dogs. Eat the hot dogs. And it was like, go, 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 go. Fucking chili cans went into the fire. Everyone mobilized. Fucking racks were put down. It was insane. Oh, because it was so sick because, yeah, it was freezing cold out. And Noodles, we put the whole fire where the embers were all the way touching, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
The whole fire was just hot ass embers.
So people forgot. People are like, they have no idea why they do it. Like the point, they've forgotten that the point. I feel like there's a natural desire to stay in shape, but the point of staying in shape is so you can go on more adventures. You know?
Yeah.
And if you go on adventures, you'll keep yourself in shape. So there's all these people working out, trying to stay in shape, but not remembering that that has to be like.
And not only not remembering, but thinking that it's to fuck more. Kind of, no?
It's like working out to build muscles that you're never going to use. Like, that's stupid. Like, you should use your muscles and just stay in shape that way. You know, human beings were like meant to stay active. Like, it's for them to be like kept sitting still and doing nothing. You know? Human beings are supposed to be like active, imaginative. And we've done like the opposite. We've got like human beings being like passive.
Same machines.
I think if you sit still too long and do nothing and aren't like excited and don't have to use your creativity, you probably start doing crazy things. I think that's why people are starting to kill each other. They're like, this doesn't make sense. All I'm doing is sitting, watching TV. Everyone else is just sitting, watching TV, fucking, you know.
Wow. I want more TV.
Just like, I don't know. I think that is that piece.
So this is another one.
Yeah.
It's the battle that occurred here to knock down these giants.
It's so insane.
Moringa, familiar stranger, and tamarind, me brethren. Tamarind, me brethren. Selassie, I know because I've seen that Solomon soul. But Solomon know because he David Keto. From the rich to the rich, from the street to the beach, from the truth to the good boys, pleasing man, if I ain't got a light of rice, cook and igniter, watch me spark this quick with this primal fire. To master yourself is to conquer desire. Devils of man which make him alarm. My words take with you just like a blackberry prior. Not of this world, and soon you will learn. Must be the change, the page we must turn. Past generations and ancestors I burn. Because of the devil and Jah, I stand firm. Moringa, familiar strain. Moringa, familiar stranger. Tamarind, me brethren. Tamarind, me brethren. Bamboo fighter, already. I hope you can see, I hope you proceed to keep on believing in humanity. Cause then we will learn, then we'll learn. Rastaman respects and fire can burn.
Virgin Islands nice.
Chop, chop, brah, bo, bo, bonjour.
That's tight. I fucking love that song, dude.
Thank you. Yes. I'm Z, by the way.
No way.
Come on, we gotta find the other one.
Find it, 9.
No.
Indica. Is that you? No. Indica. Don't find it. Let us sniff that thing.
Here we go, Indica. Smell that. No, smell it. Where's enough?
Go find it. Go find another one.
Indica, come here. Nope. Don't. Indica, smell that. Indica.
Okay, now
Nope.
find it.
Can't have it. Just like, I'll take it. Well, this is a sweet find anyway. Oh, okay.
I'm not even kidding. Yesterday I was like, let me go on a hike and find some bones or something.
But you know, here's the set of things that we can each do that when we all do them together, we, as a way smaller system than like global corporate society as a whole, can now like be our own little unit. Like, I don't know, does that make any sort of sense? So anyway, there's something super empowering about the idea of running away to join the circus. You know, it's empowering because yeah, I don't know. Something like that.
A system that maintains you also rooted to something that is yourself or a side of yourself that you should be changed, so you can always break with that the community gives.
Well, yeah, okay, there's something that
Society
makes the
gives you a
circus a
plane
closer
or-
community than society at large. Because, you know, okay, maybe the acrobats and the, like, you know, people on the main stage get a little bit more, like, attention and glory than the people, like, picking up after the animals and training the animals backstage. Maybe they get a different amount of shit than, like, the people selling tickets. And maybe that gets a different amount of, like, credit and, like, money or whatever than the person who's like the boss, like doing all the numbers in the back office or whatever. But like, but also in a lot of circuses, you know, for being romantic and like going back far enough, like it was the same people who were all of those things. You know, you'd sell the tickets and you'd take care of the animals, and then you'd go on stage later and like, you know, you played more than one character. Like these were all characters in a script called The Circus, and the script called The Circus doesn't work without someone playing all the different characters. And you know, and there's only ever going to be so big of a gap between like the boss of the circus and the animal caretaker at the circus and everybody else in between. Like it's not like mainstream society where you've got your home bums and you've got your, you know, corporate CEOs, and they can get like, you know, worlds and worlds apart.
Dehumanized.
Yeah. And it's hard to feel like they're part of the same system that's like looking out for the benefit of all. Whereas, I don't know, the circus is a much smaller organism to think about. And so, well, I don't know. It's closer to the reality that like, you know, it may seem like the boss has a more important job than the acrobat who has a more important job than the person selling tickets who has a more important job than the person taking care of the animals, but like, does it really? It's like, if any one of those people leaves, it's like a restaurant, you know? It's like, okay, you need the dishwashers as much as you need the cooks, as much as you need the waiters, as much as you need the bartenders. Like, everybody is on the same team. Like,
He's like this wisp of a man. He's just like, his body looks like a whip. Like he puts all of his energy into his art and saves none of it for his body.
No ladder.
No ladder. Jump it.
Be a big baller now because it's gonna be about 6 feet high.
Little snipe pouch. Noodles, you know what would be sick? If you just had a loop on a rope with a rope going over the top of a branch. And you got yourself up with switch your foot, fucking loop, and you pull yourself up. And then you let yourself down. That's how you stay regimented.
Is it cool if I don't bring an instrument today?
People are gonna give me shit, but yeah, sure.
No, I'm gonna sit in front of the bar and bullshit.
That's my life.
You always do the same tarp shape. You can rain off to one side.
Yeah, that's nice.
Maybe not. I don't know.
You start singing some poetry at Lost Boy Night?
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, it doesn't have to just be music.
What time
man.
is it on that phone?
Maybe when people are trying to figure out what to play, you know, or don't want to play.
Yeah,
dude, I will
Bust you off. 5 o'clock. I'll be exactly 5 o'clock.
can anybody juggle?
Do you guys know?
I juggle.
Me and Zion were practicing throwing knives to each
I
other.
can do 4. I can do 4.
Nice.
Is it 5 right now?
I haven't done it in a long time. I was gonna go to clown school and shit. That was one of my
You gotta like build up the like antics to eventually like spitting fire down there.
Yeah, to the point where they have to open up the back with ultralights with the fucking spitfire. That was so tight. So nice.
Put a fire pit on the inside. Put like a
See, this is what Albert's doing all day. Organizing these little cameras in little spots. I can't believe those fuckers tore down my house.
I try to enjoy it. So
You're good at it, man.
I put something and then try to work or enjoy or something else.
We've got like a legit movie making kit. Like we can start writing.
That's another
short,
stuff.
like, film
Yeah,
it.
Frank.
Like,
And find directors.
Frank, you ever thought about writing movies?
Give me a script. What?
You ever thought about writing movies?
Yes, I've thought about writing movies a lot.
Let's just collectively write a little short something.
A little short.
Yeah.
Collectively.
I have a lot, but you have still a part. Well,
What?
that I have a lot of ideas or maybe a bottom line that could connect something, but still you four now have 3 minutes of voice if you want. If you have something specifically that you feel like, and then I can think on, or we can all think again, how they connect with each other, no?
Yeah.
And if one have some that freaks the rest out, and it's the one, and that's it. You're right. The other day we were speaking especially about the second volume of Hook.
Okay.
Who is being written by...
Trying to rewrite Robin Hood too.
Okay.
They come back from Neverland. Like, it was between
Oh, we were talking about that.
We all forget where we came from.
Everyone comes from Neverland and gets to the real world and forgets that they were ever in Neverland.
great.
And they have to re-find each other. They end up in all different points and have to re-find each other somehow.
Yeah, of course.
It's quantic. It's in another reality.
But it starts with them leaving Neverland and be like, when we get back to the real world, we have to find each other. It's like, how will we find each other if we don't remember who we are?
How do they get separated?
What?
How do they get separated?
The idea being that like
They're
the
gonna
people
all
in
be
Neverland
at
are all from different spots.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're like going back to their different.
No, dude, it's like, Frank, I don't want to say it's already been written, but like, there is a children's story that you have to read that's called fucking The Little Soul in the Sun.
Yes.
And it's about heaven and hell and shit, and like, how these souls are all up in heaven, and they're like, this little soul is like trying to figure out what he's like asking God all these questions.
He's trying to figure out what he is.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what he wants to know what it feels like to be whatever. So at some point he comes to the conclusion he needs to feel. He wants to be able to forgive. He's like, I want to be able to forgive somebody. And he's like, well, in order for you to forgive somebody, somebody has to do something bad to you. And so
he has
like,
to go to.
So he's like trying to find somebody to be bad to him, but they're all pure souls. And so a girl walks up and is like, I'm willing to dim my light down darker to the point where I can actually hurt you so that you can forgive me. But you have to be able to forgive me because then my soul will be broken and lost forever.
Damn, dude.
And so it's really cool. And it's really creepy at that part because she shrouds herself in a blanket and all you can see is like this dark ass blanket figure. And then she climbs inside of a chest. Inside of the chest is like pure darkness.
Damn,
It's like
dude.
crazy.
That's heavy, dude.
It is. It's heavy for a children's story, but I mean, I'll fucking buy it.
Every time we talk about that idea of knowing people and then forgetting them, we always bring up
What?
the little soul in the sun. What?
Huh? The little soul in the sun?
The Little Soul in the Sun.
Someone
I
that
looked
you've
it up
met
on YouTube.
before
I tried to show Frankie. She wasn't about
knowing
it.
him.
Hey, nope.
Don't teach my kid about God.
Frankie?
Let's go
Yeah.
to Cal's and get it. I bet
It's
you
a
it's a
great
Cal's.
book, dude.
Don't leave your shoulder to roll the dice. that you're prepared, my son and my child. I hope that you're prepared. I hope that you're prepared, my son and my child. My son and my child. Is it a Sig?
Bam!
The first song I ever wrote about New Orleans. It made me watch it.
Hope that you're prepared.
I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. But now you are.
I love the fucking. Watcher wrote the last verse and it's like shit, it's like image. It's like some images burn from my gun. Barrels make brothers of us all. Life lived by the moon. Stories and girls to swoon. This wandering life. It is my curse. I hope that you're prepared. Swoon.
I don't
That
think.
one's sick. It's like magic's alive and well. Don't believe me, I'll show and tell. Roll the dice and flip the cards.
What's that?
The city's bleeding mischief.
I need to write all this shit down.
You won't last the night. Looks like this town claimed your wretched life. Cigarette?
If you want, everyone's gonna have a problem with it unless you show everyone's side of things, you know?
One side.
You know, you're talking about originally progression, like
I'm very far now. Well, not far, but
this, you know, everyone's got their like, everyone sees their story of it, you know. So like, if you just write it as the story, you know, you can tell when you're bringing up that everyone has something to say about it. I mean, like,
everyone
this
has
place-
arrived here by a different path.
yeah.
Even
so
now it's
like,
together.
It's like maybe this place is Neverland. Somehow we all got here, and somehow it's all something different to us. But it's always Neverland, you know. It's like it means something different to Trevor. It means something different to me.
Yeah.
And like, kind of like this story is like Lost Boys, like all know each other, and then get here, and then are like, holy shit, this is it, we found it again, it's fucking Neverland, you know? It's like, we were all looking for somewhere, we were all trying to get back to somewhere, and then we find it, and we all tell each other like, it's here, let's go, it's here, you know? This is the spot.
And now we have to go through a lot of things from the story that we didn't even thought about. You know, like the consideration. Have this freedom, no? But I like it this way. This is why I'm trying to deconstruct a bit, to put certain parts of the book. A way of making a small tribute, connect it. But at the very end, let the viewer know, discover that the story is already Neverland. It's people that want to dream and don't want to roll with a grey light.